I'd like to call this Town of Cromwell Board of Finance meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Steve, the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Okay, Mr. Blanchett running a little late. Can I have a motion to seat Mr. Crigliano in his place?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Roganowski, seconded by Mr. Kelly. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Welcome for the next 10 minutes. Okay, item D, organization. What's that? Oh, my goodness. I assumed we'd already set you in. I'm so sorry. Can I have a motion to seat Mr. Flanders in for Mr. Maley? I apologize for that.
So, second. Sorry.
Moved by Mr. Kelly, seconded by Mr. Wagonowski. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Sorry about that.
I refrained from voting for you because I was an unofficial drone.
I just had it in my head that we had already, because, well, no, Mr. Maley was kind enough to let me know ahead of time, so I'm like, oh, well, we're all set, and I just, okay, moving on. Item D, organization. Can I have a motion for nominating Dan Kelly for Vice Chairman of the Board of Finance? I can't. Oh, I can. Motion made by Mr. Flanders. Is there a second? Second, Mr. Fidelli. I'd like to recognize and thank Steve for all the work that he has done as the vice chair, and no one recognized that. In the spirit of working together, everybody, you've withdrawn your name from doing this. So thank you for everything, and we know you're going to continue to do some great work and stuff for us. So thank you. So with that, can I have a vote to put in Dan Kelly as vice chairman of the Board of Finance? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Mr. Kelly, congratulations. Look forward to working with you. Really appreciate it. Item E, approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes tonight, guys? Are we all good? We're good. Mr. Blanchett, you missed all the fun already. Come on over. Citizens' comments. We need a better PR person or something. I don't know. Anyway, all right, moving on. Item G, Board of Education Liaison Report. Ms. Russ, good to see you. Nothing much going on in your world, is there?
No.
No?
Just a little quiet. No, just kidding. Well, I'll start with the big news that Dr. Macri is retiring at the end of this school year. So effective June 30th, 2026, she will be retiring. So, so obviously we have to start the process for finding a new superintendent. We're going to be using a search firm. We haven't decided on which one. We're gathering the information for that, and then we'll have to take a look and see. This could be a search that could go nationally. It could stay local. We're not sure which direction it's going to take yet. She's more than willing, if we haven't found one, to stay on as an advisory role going forward after the June 30th. But that is our big news, and it is something that we are now starting the process for. There is one current board member who's been through it before. All the rest of us are brand new. So I hear it's a very lengthy, tiring process. You've been through it before. So, yep. So we're sad to see her go, but she's done a lot for our district and our students. But this is personal reasons that very important for her to retire right now. So, does anyone have any questions on that? But yes, only up to a certain percentage of time because we can't use. So are you going to hire an interim? Well, we have until August to get a new one. So
I mean, just for clarity's sake, this news has only come out on Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Well, no. It
yesterday.
came public yesterday.
Public yesterday, yeah, right.
Yeah, it was public yesterday.
So I was just thinking your Board of Ed meeting. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yesterday. So I'm sure there's a lot to still
There's a lot.
sort out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thanked her for putting us in a better position to find a new superintendent, as John was not in a great position when they had to go find one in the past, so, this is a little bit nicer and easier for us, but, we do need to use a search firm, so we're prepared for that, we're ready, we know what we need to do, so, yeah, so this is brand new news,
So obviously, brand new news and still distilling it.
yes.
Expectations on Dr. Macri still leading the budget conversations as we
Yes.
go into the process?
Yes, absolutely.
We'll be setting the meeting something up
Yes.
this today? Okay,
Yes. She will be here through June 30th.
great.
And just because of the setting we're in, I'm assuming that the search firm you're gonna use is gonna do it for free?
No.
No, oh, okay. And that'll be encumbered, that'll have to go through in this,
We're hoping we don't have to, it's gonna have to be this year's budget, so we think we're gonna be okay with it.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
yeah.
sorry, continue.
But yeah, no, they had talked about, we add for next year's. I'm like, no, this is a current year budget issue, and it's something that we have to be aware of and start using now, so. Yes.
I'm sorry, so then, only given the timing, I know everything's moving around and stuff.
Yep.
Like, are you guys in a position from the Board of Ed to like pick the firm to do it already? Or is it like-
Yes, so we will be presented, Michelle Demaro, our Director of HR, will provide us with different search firms and what the search firms will do, as far as, usually there's surveys that go out to the community, we look to see, how they're gonna do their search, what criteria they're gonna look at. They'll actually call qualified individuals, whether they're sitting supers or not, and see if they're interested in the position. We definitely need to hire one of those, but we want to see what the full scope of each of these firms is willing to do and what they are going to charge. There are some districts that in the past year have gotten new superintendents. Even in our little shoreline area, there are two, so that I'm aware of. There may be more, but so we are fully aware of we're going to be picking the search firm. We're looking for recommendations from other boards on who they liked and who they didn't like and stuff, so, yep.
Yeah, so just on the point of the cost of a search firm, I mean, there was unencumbered surplus funds
Yep.
still available,
Yep.
right? That would be
Yep.
part of what you could grab.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Anything else? No? Okay. So, but we did talk about our budget. We've been going through and talking a lot about our budget. They did the first presentation, just like the town, the insurance is absolutely killing us. But we've been working with the brokers and we told them, they came back with some better numbers. We gave some different scenarios that we'd like them to present back to the different brokers, and to see where we can maybe kind of push back a little bit more and maybe get a better rate. Other items, the board pretty much is looking to say you're not going to add other items to the budget that aren't needed right now because this is a huge hit to our budget this year. So we're trying to keep it reasonable and manageable. Shocking to me what some of the other towns are pushing through or trying to push through. Just to give you a hint, some are 8, 9, 10%. And none of our board members feel comfortable with that at all. So, so we are working to try and get our best and final numbers before we can actually vote on the budget and where we think the percentage should be and everything. So if certain options, if we select them, we do have to go back and renegotiate all of our contracts, which is a lot of work and it's also very costly. So we're trying to avoid that part of it. So that's been our discussion through the start of this year.
Just before you jump next, and this is just more for everyone here, the insurance item that Ms. Russ has mentioned, and this is gonna be a problem and is gonna be going on for everybody. That world, the medical insurance world, the employee benefit side, just realize and know now that those costs and what we're gonna see is gonna be up and a problem. So I just wanna make sure, looking at it this way, it's not necessarily a town issue, a Board of Ed issue.
Yeah.
it is.
This is a nationwide issue.
This is something that, you know, obviously I think both sides are gonna do a great job showing their work, showing their effort, getting out in the marketplace and presenting the best option available. But just know and be aware that it's, odds are it is going to be a jump. And all we can look at and do is say, okay, is this the best available that we've got? And then we gotta figure it out, boys. And so, that's it.
Just to give you an idea, there are 4 major insurance companies. One of them wouldn't even provide a bid. So, anyway, so that's where we are. That's why a lot of the other towns are so high, but we are pushing back and trying to see if they can do a little bit better job negotiating and maybe look to see if we can have a percentage cap of increase in the following year. So those are options we're exploring, because we don't want to get hit with a huge increase this year and then another huge increase next year. We're trying to manage it a little bit more. So, but those have been our big drivers of our current situation. I don't think I've been in here for a while, so I'm not sure if you're all aware that we do have a new Board of Ed chair. Alicia Gadudi is our new Board of Ed chair. I did remain as the secretary, but it's been good. She's very experienced. She runs Adabrook here in town, and so she has a lot to contribute. She's excellent at what she's doing. So that's the focus of what we've been working on right now. We know that there's the projects that are happening, the town projects. So the whole board isn't necessarily involved in that. We just kind of look over and see and ask questions. But we do have our designated members that go to those pieces and they report back to us, because it is a joint effort. It's not a Board of Ed effort. So, but I'm excited that we're looking to fix some problems that have been happening on these fields in town and other areas for a long time. I'm thrilled. So thanks for all your support and all of that.
We'll go down the line, Mr. Flanders.
So, some good news in your process.
Yes.
A bill dropped in the legislature today to increase the foundation amount for the ECS grant program.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Okay. I knew that was up for today. I didn't know if it passed or not.
It didn't pass. It's going to hearing next week,
Okay.
but it showed up today.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. That'd be great.
Would that impact the current fiscal year, or is it for the next one?
It would be for, the bill was talking about as of July 1st. So
Yeah, so the next, okay.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have any impact?
It wouldn't have any impact on, no.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Any other questions?
Nope.
Mr. Bill?
How we doing? How's the track looking, project-wise?
We can't start that until the school year and the track team season is done. And with our current runners, the track season may not end until June, sometime in June, which is great because we have a nationally ranked runner at the high school level. He's awesome, and
Yeah.
he's a great
Really good.
person. So, yeah, we have a lot of fun watching him. The track team is doing a standout job. Both the girls and boys won Shoreline Conference, by the way. So we saw a lot of their runners at the State Open this past Saturday.
For indoor, yeah.
So, but unfortunately, that will delay the track until,
But contractor,
yeah, we've got it all
picked out
secured,
and-
yep.
is it still on time for the summer?
It'd still be under snow. but-
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't do it last summer, so let's put it that way. Yeah, but yes.
Oh, great,
Good.
thank you.
Mr. Betcher?
So, half the school year into the new Cromwell Middle School, how's it going? Anything,
I hear nothing but wonderful and great things about it. It's been, I don't have any kids in there, but I've been in there for a few events, and
it's a beautiful school.
it's a beautiful, I've talked to students. I have a lot of middle school students in my neighborhood. Right, Jamie? And some of the comments from some of them are like, I can't believe I get to go to school here. I feel so lucky when I go in here. Everything's so amazing and beautiful and brand new. And when kids drop something on the ground, somebody yells at them to pick it up because they want to keep their school clean. They're so proud of it. They just absolutely love it. The science labs they're super thrilled for. And these are kids who did go to the old middle school too. They are just over the moon over this school. So lots of positives.
Very good, thanks.
Yep.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you for coming as always, appreciate it. And when do you guys meet again? 2 weeks?
March 10th.
You feel like you probably have a vote?
I'm hoping our insurance number's in. If not, we might have to do a special meeting after that before you guys so we can present to you.
I mean, we're gonna talk budget dates tonight,
Yeah,
but,
and I talked to Chris Butwell
okay,
about when he had to have, him and I discussed when, the cutoff was for the board of ed and
Yep.
where the decision was.
what date is that?
So I usually bring them to the March meeting for you guys.
The
Got it.
last,
Right, but so he said they need 3 days to put the books together.
Okay, so middle of March,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
all right, so you got a
That's
few
our
weeks.
drop dead date of when we have to vote on something, so.
Right, right. And listen, if the time comes and numbers are still, you just can do the best you can with it, and
Yeah.
then we'll carry on.
Yeah.
We'll try to figure it out together, but I mean, just do what you can with it, and obviously, if there's still an opportunity there to try to save and,
Oh,
you know what I
yeah.
mean, like, we're not gonna stop that process by any stretch, so.
We're better at this meeting than we were at the last February meeting.
Yeah, okay,
However, we're not happy, so we're gonna keep fighting.
Yeah, good.
We're gonna keep fighting. We have more questions, we push back, they're gonna do more work, so, yeah, we're not gonna sit there and just accept whatever they present to us.
that's what we like to hear.
So, yeah,
All right, anyone else? We're good?
okay,
Enjoy your night.
thank you.
Good to see you. All right. Item H, special report from our town auditor. Oh, I guess we're gonna have an intro. Oh. Ms. Finance Director, please.
I just thought we should.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'd like to introduce our audit firm, is PKF O'Connor Davies. They've been doing our audit since fiscal year 20. And tonight, we have Joe Santafanti, a partner, and we have Katie Tao, a manager, and they have been on our audit since the beginning. And they left a presentation for you all.
All right, good evening to you both. Thank you both for coming. We appreciate it. I know we'd rather be somewhere else on a Thursday night, but we'll try to make it fun somehow. But go ahead, please.
All right, I'm just gonna use this presentation to kind of walk through the highlights of the 4 documents that you have. We're gonna use, and then we're gonna hit all those documents, but we're gonna use this as, the map. So we're gonna talk about the financial statements, which is the biggest book, the federal and state single audit, it's the smaller book, and then the communication, those charged with governance, which is one of the letters, and then the recommendations is the second letter. Starting on page 9 of the financial statements, the opinion on the financials, unmodified opinion, or clean opinion as they call it, so that's the kind of opinion you're looking for. Couple highlights for this year, there was a new standard regarding compensated absences, sick and vacation time. Sick really was the driver. So there's a prior period adjustment of about almost $5 million. It's on your top statements. It's not really affecting your budget, but it's just this accrual accounting that they like to do. So basically, the biggest change is related to concept of expected use versus whether you vest or not. So, and the biggest part of this is that educated teachers basically that drive the biggest part of the increase. Just because before it was just based upon if it vested or not vested, and now we have to, a lot of different calculations have to be done. So I'm not sure how valuable it is, but that is a change you'll see the prior period. Also, there's a new major fund. So based upon last year's discussion, there were couple questions about the school building fund and the activity. So we broke that fund out this year out of cap projects and presented it separately. So you can see that the activity for that fund, the school project fund, separate from
Just
the
give me
cap
one
project.
Just so everyone knows, for this, it's actually the back page, what he's referring to, so we start on the back bottom, I'm sorry. It got stapled, the staple's down this way for what you're looking at here, the front was page 4, that's why I was looking, I'm like, wait a minute, yeah, so you're on the back.
All right.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry about that, but so anyway, that's broken out, and then talk a couple times about this RSI 1D, which is a change in the presentation, and it gives you a little bit more information on changes in the budget, why budget went up or down, and what the budget variances are from year to year. It's kind of a preview of some of the changes that are coming next year, and we'll look at that a little bit more detail. So MD&A, the management discussion analysis, starts on page 12 through 21. Again, this is a good executive summary of the fiscal year operations and some of the significant changes as compared to prior years. So I always like to recommend everybody kind of read that to get a high level understanding of what's different and some of the results of operations for the year. So a couple of the items on assigned fund balance, you got 23% basically. Prior year was 26%. And part of that is related to the assigned fund balance. So the balance your 26 budget, you used the $4.7 million out of fund balance to balance, so that is shown as assigned in the report versus the unassigned, which is available to appropriate. The school building fund, the bond anticipation notes were issued to fund the building. Due to some of the accounting, you'll see that was permanently financed before year end, so that you'll see if you look at the in that fund, you'll see the $40 million in the bonds that were issued. It also talks about some of your significant capital asset activities, so the biggest, of course, being the middle school, as you talked about earlier, and then a Pearson Park renovation, and there's a few other ones listed in there if you want a little bit more detail. So again, your unassigned fund balance dollars-wise is the $14.7 million, which is on page 25. The net change in fund balance was a decrease of the 1.7 million. Again, that's considering what we'll talk about below. What were the drivers for that? Revenues, other financing sources were under budget by 3.4 million, and that was basically related that income from investments was above what you budgeted. Property taxes were above what you budgeted by 450,000. Income, the 1 point from investments from 1.3, and then the use of fund balance last year, two components of 5.4 million. One was the appropriation to balance the 25 budget of 2,038,000, and the other was the appropriation of fund balance for the settlement of 3.4. So basically looking at it, because you used fund balance, that's what kind of drove your negative operations, but you used 5 million, your negative operations for 1.7, so you kind of did better than your plan. The other component on that helped that part is the expenditures, other financing uses were under budget by the 1.1 million, and that was kind of driven by employee benefits savings of 642, public safety savings of 230,000, and public works savings of 140. Again, when we look at RSI 1D, there's a little bit more detailed description of what drove that, such as general government employee benefits are down because you had open positions, so the cost was lower due to that. Sewer fund, also on page 25 and 27, the fund balance is about 2.3 million. The net change in fund balance about 19,000, so basically kind of a break-even year. You planned to use about 129,000, so again, you kind of beat your plan by about $110,000 for that fund. Oops. So for sewer fund, the budgetary fund balance, again, what drove that loss was revenues were under budget by a net of 77,000. The current charges were under by 402, and then prior year collections were over by 185. And then on the expenditure side, you were under budget by 188,000, and that was driven by outside services being under budget by 52, and employee benefits also being under by 46. So looking at the pension plan, so for your funded percentage basically didn't change from prior years, just a a slight increase. That was driven more by increase in differences between expected and actual experience of the 400 and the net change in your in value of investments of the 1.5. So your annual money rate of return last year was the 6.84%. For the MERS plan, the state plan, the liability increased by $983,000, but the funded percentage increased from 69.54 up to 72.88. So good progress on that. And your OPEB fund, percentage funded at 62.53%, which is a pretty good percent, just knowing that OPEB funding started, less than, roughly 10 years ago. So that's an increase of almost 5%. And that was driven mostly by the change in fair value of investments, and your return on investment for the OPEB fund was the 10.45%. All right, I'm gonna have Katie talk about the other few reports, and then we can answer any questions, unless you wanna do questions on this.
Just before, just out of curiosity, the last three items you just mentioned, from a percentage standpoint, good, bad, overachieving, underachieving, like, from a gut perspective, all three, are we in a good spot?
Yeah, 80% is considered a well-funded plan. Again, OPEB, 80% would be exceptional, just because, again, pension plans have been around a lot longer than the OPEB plan, so 62% is really good.
Okay.
So you're in a good place, and again, you had a good increase, so as long as you keep funding what the actuary is requesting, you'll be in good shape.
Thank you.
All right, hello everybody. I'm going to be talking about the federal and state grant reports. That's a small report in front of you. Both of these had the unmodified or clean opinions. On pages 6 and 7 of that report, the federal grants expended are all listed, which total approximately $3 million. On page 9 of the report, we indicate that there were no findings or questioned costs identified, and that the programs that we tested was the ARPA grant. On pages 13 to 14, that shows all the state grants expended, and that totaled approximately $21 million. This is an increase from last year of approximately $10 million due to this school construction grant, and that's considered a grant, an exempt program. So it's not required for us to audit it. It is one of the programs that the state audits. On page 16, it states that there are no findings or question costs related to our auditing, and that the programs tested were the LoCIP grant, the Community Conservation and Development grants, which include the sidewalk and Pearson Park projects, and also the Urban Action Bond grant, which was for the Little League project. The Little League lights, sorry. We also issued the communication with those charged with governance letter. So that letter identifies our responsibilities under the professional audit standards and also the federal and state audit acts. This letter also communicates the significant accounting estimates during the 2025 audit were the pension and OPEB liabilities, and also the compensated absences this year, which, because of the new GASB standard, was significant. So that is a change to this letter, and that the estimates were audited. We also identify in this letter that there were no past audit adjustments, and any audit adjustments that we did find were communicated and provided to management. And on the last page of the letter, we do indicate that we and the firm remain independent from the town. A new letter you received this year is the recommendations letter. So I'm just going to walk through a few of them. You do have it on your own to read, so if you have any questions, just let us know. Both the town and the education received the payroll recommendation. And also, there is also an accounts payable recommendation. Both the payroll and accounts payable recommendations relate to internal controls, basically stating that the employees processing these areas should not also be the employee entering the employee data for payroll or entering new vendors for the AP process, just in order to strengthen those internal control processes. There were a couple tax collector comments, number 4A and B, regarding suspense transfers and accepting collections for advance payments. Both those comments are common comments that we give to our clients, and is for industry best practices that we've seen. Let's see, number 7 through 10, those recommendations relate to education department, and their recommendations to improve the financial reporting process by making better use of the accounting software, and improving the internal controls over these areas that are mentioned in the comments for the education funds. And then on the last page, we mentioned best practices, and the same comments for both town and education, saying to establish a fraud policy. This is a standard recommendation that we give to most towns, and most towns have been implementing them. And we have already provided a sample of the policy to Sharon.
Did Mr. Butwell get a copy of this as well, or? Butwell, for the Board of Ed side? Yeah, oh yeah.
And I talked about it today.
Yeah, okay, all right.
And he did give a copy to the Board of Ed.
Yeah. Great, okay.
All right, so that was it for the recommendations. The next part was the new GASB statements for, there's a new statement coming out for 103, effective 2026 fiscal year. And this new reporting model is primarily going to affect the format of the management's discussion and analysis in the audit report, as Joe had mentioned. And this is increasing the analysis and readability of the management discussion and analysis, and reducing the repetitiveness in it. So it'll be easier to read next year. And part of that analysis, as Joe had mentioned, RSI 1D this year already has some of that early implemented. Part of that new financial reporting model also applies to enterprise funds and internal service funds, but does not apply to Cromwell's specific internal service funds. It's very specific as to what type of internal service funds that it is applicable to. So it's really just going to be the management discussion, analysis, and focusing on that analysis part for next year. So that was everything for me. Did you guys have any questions?
I'm certain we do. Anyway, first off, thank you. I appreciate it. Secondly, if I'm hearing the overall theme, I know we'll get into this recommendation letter thing in a minute, but it sounds like from an overall theme standpoint, town's in a good spot. We're financially healthy. There's nothing major, going on from a glaring perspective. We're in a great spot. The finance department is doing what they need to do, and we're in a good place. Is that a good general theme overall? Yeah.
I
Good.
would like to say so.
Okay. No, good. It's not surprising by any stretch. It's the way it's been. No, thank you for the overview. You know what? We'll start this way. We'll start with questions, and I'll gather up my thoughts on it real quick. But Mr. Quigliano, why don't you go ahead if you have something to start?
We're not limiting to just the federal audit, the state and federal audit, right?
Well, just questions for, if it's applicable for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, Joe can answer.
Yeah, maybe back to, when we were talking about the different, on the summary. We were talking about the different, so the pension plan, I see that the 85% funded. Just remind me again, the MERS system, the Connecticut MERS, and then the state teachers, to what degree does the town have obligations there to be funded or not, or is the funding percentage just information that's outside really the town's control?
As far as the MERS, you have responsibility to fund that. They call it a cost-sharing plan, so you're just in the pool with a whole bunch of other local governments.
Yeah.
So you have to contribute whatever percentage of payroll that the state kind of says. So you should have a budget line for MERS.
Right, so that's a specified contribution amount, kind of like a defined contribution amount to go in. We can't say, oh, well, we wanna overfund it, we wanna get this to 100% funded. That's outside of the town's control.
Yes, for the
Not
MERS
like the
plan.
pension, that's what I'm saying. Our own pension, we can choose to throttle contributions to, bring it up or down, but, the MERS is more prescriptive.
Right, it's just a percentage of payroll that they get, so yeah, you can't kind of catch that one up.
Yeah.
You could do that internally and manage your budget that way, but yeah, you can't send it to them. And teachers, there's no responsibility.
Okay.
So there's a lot of disclosure, that's why we don't talk about percentage funded or anything.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was
that,
wondering, yeah, it's
because
in the bigger book, but it's not.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
required to give all those disclosures, but the town, has no responsibility to fund it. Teachers,
Okay.
it's self-funded and then the state.
Okay, that was just an initial ones for me, thank you.
Two quick ones for me, hopefully they're both relatively easy. The recommendation letter that's here, is this any kind of like priority order? Is it more so, hey, these are kind of things we wanna see, is there anything major or glaring, or is it just the items you identified?
Well, the payroll and accounts payable for both, those are more internal control related. It's just kind of, something we always point out, it's just an access thing. So those are more something to pay attention to over some of the other ones. And on the education side, again, there's been a lot of new people and that type of thing. So I think that's where some of the recommendations just came from, just to give them some direction to kind of more fully utilize the general ledger system, because we get some information out of the general ledger and we get some offline, and it doesn't always line up easily. So just to kind of use the general ledger completely for some of those funds will just make it efficient on both sides.
Okay.
So there's nothing that's, if it was something significant, it would be you'd have a finding in your single audit that there was a significant deficiency or a material weakness, but that's when you need to be concerned.
Yeah, right. This is more so, trying to streamline operations and.
Right, and just tighten things up. It's just,
Okay. My second question, maybe I'm looking at this or reading this wrong, but on 92 in here, I'll check with you guys here too. The current taxes line here, it talks about, 50.252 million, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to the right, it says the actual is 50.14, so a shortfall about 112 grand, right? Does that mean we were short on current year tax collections? Like, did we fall? No, I understand, that's all the motor vehicle supplement and the prior year, I get it from, and I'm just saying for what we were looking at to collect that year, I just didn't remember us saying that we were,
Under.
yeah, that was all.
So in June, we do a journal entry to distribute to those other categories, and that's why your percentage, when you see, we do a journal entry to distribute to, like, where you've got the 456 to 422, and we take it out of the current taxes. It's something we do every single year.
Okay. No, I guess I'm not,
Yeah, I remember,
I'm not saying that there's something, I just didn't remember there being a negative, that was all, I was
I'm
just trying to
actually
remember.
surprised, now you bring that, I'm surprised that we had budget, I thought the conversation with Brian Sturmer in the past was, hey, we're gonna show you what we're actually doing, like, we're at 101%
Right.
of what we budgeted, but budgeted is current year, and what we got includes prior year, which we don't have budget for in the current year, but this schedule makes it look like we actually budgeted for amounts in
Okay.
here.
All right, so is
But I
that how
think
I'm trying to tie it together then?
Maybe, I mean,
All
I think
right.
the overall story was.
Yeah, the overall is we're up 453,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's the bottom line. It was just that top line I'm looking, I'm like, there's a negative there? So anyway,
Right.
that was what I was that just caught my eye, so. Anyway, we'll keep it going. Go ahead, Steve.
Just for, I wanna make it
Yeah.
clear, but this is from last year, I think,
So last year was showing up, 700,
on the favorable, right?
yeah. Okay.
Probably some accounting thing, but.
Yeah, all right. All right, no, thanks.
I don't think Matt's right. I think Matt's, we're always looking at total collection.
Hey, Katie, Joe, hey, thanks for being here tonight. Appreciate all this great work, appreciate the recommendation letter, as well, that's fantastic, to see. I mean, every organization has some chance for some improvement, so it's no big deal, it's good input, so love it, that's really great stuff. For the recommendations, I'd written one note, when you do those kinds of recommendations, besides like the process, do you look at single-person dependencies ever? Do you see them, and if so, could they, or should they be part of the recommendations? If they exist, should they be part of the recommendations? Now, let me explain. You probably do get the term, but often, unfortunately, things have been done many years for many ways. Sometimes there's a person who's done it for 25 years. No one else knows exactly what they do, because they do something in the system. That person all of a sudden leaves or what else, and all of a sudden it's chaos for some reason. Like, that's a risk. I've seen it in the corporate world all the time. We're always on the lookout for that, don't want that to happen. So that's kind of the context of why I'm asking that question.
Yeah, it's certainly not a focus in the audit. It depends on if that comes out, so it's not, and then it's not an internal control, which is more our focus. If we did more of a consulting project, we would ask those more detailed questions, but, so if it's something we're aware of, we might at least informally communicate it, say, well, this person does it this way, and they're only one know how to do it. Because we do have clients where that person leaves and everyone is kind of scrambling for 6 months, trying to figure out what they did and how they did it, type thing. So I understand that, but as part of the audit, we're not always looking, it comes to our attention, but it's not, we're looking at the control more than that type of thing.
And then and Katie, you may have said it, sorry if I missed it, but would the expectation be then this recommendation letter that has these items, then next year you'll kind of look through these and see which ones have been remediated, which ones haven't, and that'll just kind of be part of like an annual kind of letter of recommendation, maybe a little bit of an aging report to a degree, like, hey, some are still open, they haven't gotten resolved, or maybe it's a different flavor, or whatever it is, right? It may just be a little bit different versus being fully closed and done. Should we expect to see that year after year, or?
Yeah, what we do for recurring is we'll have an asterisk that says that it's a prior year recommendation, so it'll be clear to you that what's being repeated from the prior year, so we don't have a charter or anything. We certainly could do something like that, but we do flag anything that's repeated from the prior year. So this is the first year. I think when we first got the engagement in 2020, there were some recommendations, but that's how you will know. It'll be asterisk saying this was reported in the prior year. We don't always put the year. For single audit purposes, if you had a finding, they're required to put the year. We certainly could do the year that it was there, but hopefully it'll turn over faster than that. So there's a little bit of timing on this, because if you're just getting the recommendations in January, we're 7 months into the year. So depending on what the comment is, if we can see that it's fixed, we'll remove it. If it's internal control based, it existed during the year, so we normally would repeat the comment because it impacts our testing.
And again, I ask all these because I think it's a positive thing, always to find some way to make something better. I think that's actually a very good thing. It's not a bad thing, in any way, shape, or form. Good, yeah, please, yeah.
Okay, so I'm used to seeing when a recommendation letter like this comes out, a follow-up from management response, and I don't see our management response here. Is that just not because the timing wasn't adequate to get a management response on these particular issues that have been identified? Not necessarily that they've been addressed, but that management agrees and is putting a plan together to address the issue that you've raised, or they don't agree that this is actually an issue, and here's why.
So that's required for findings. Like, again, if you had a findings in the smaller report, whether it be internal control or compliance, then that type of response is in the document. But for other matters, as we call them.
So you don't consider these significant enough to be they're not affecting the financials in some degree, so that's why you're.
Yeah, I mean, the best practice is the board would request management
Right.
to provide you that response.
Right. Okay,
So
Okay.
that's
So-
more what is done with
Fair
this
enough.
type of thing.
gotcha. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Steve.
We don't require a response, but we will go over it with management next year.
Chris and I had a conversation today, and I did, address the page over the phone, we had a conversation, and, I mean, we just got them in January, we didn't get them in December. And, Tony and I were going to make a formal recommendation, but I think we'll run this with our comments on their comments. And, I believe, Chris Cromwell is going to do the same.
Hey, so, when the audit is done, and part of putting together all the numbers, are you provided, I assume you are, probably like a list of all of the accounts we have with all of the positions or cash or whatever that are in them? Or how do some of these numbers, specifically on that, I know there's a bazillion numbers in here, but it's just more on the accounts and all the cash. Like, do you get like a roster list of all of those? Or I know there's some summaries in here, but do you get access to all the details? And if so, or not, if why not, or should you have that, or?
Yeah, we get every single trial balance, summary, and detail. We don't look at every transaction, but we're provided every transaction for the whole year.
Sort of like just at the balance in the account at the end of the year then? Like if it's account A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever else, like there's a balance shown there?
Cash, or, I mean, we look.
Cash, yeah,
Yep, that's part of the trial balance, and we look at the bank rec.
okay.
So that's part of the audit process is, if the GL says there's $1 million, we look at the bank rec, we confirm the cash with the bank, and then we look at the bank rec and does it agree to the $1 million?
Okay.
So, or is there something on the bank rec in the other bucket that we don't like that makes it balance?
Sure.
So that's part of the audit process, and cash we look at pretty closely because of the risk.
Sure, okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna pass. I have a few other questions, but they're more like
I appreciate it.
detailed, like kind of like they're not like, these are more broader questions, so they'll probably go quicker, so, but I'll defer.
Yeah, so once again, thank you so much. This is extremely helpful. Appreciate the work, and, you know, to John's comments, you know, very clean audit, you know, so, you know, kudos to the finance team. You know, my first question is very simple, and it's similar to what John's question was. You know, strong financials, that's what I'm taking away from it. Financial position, risks are managed well, so you don't see any, coming out of this audit, you're not seeing any particular risk that sits in front of us that should be managed differently or should be managed more intently coming out of this audit? I mean, we already talked about our benefits, you know, funding, which is always a big piece of that. OPEB's funding is in a good spot.
Right.
I mean, outside of some economic condition that's unanticipated at this point where we can't gain revenues or.
Right, from a financial risk,
Right.
your fund balance is in a good
very strong.
position. The rating agencies like to see that, especially now with these, 2-foot snowstorms and those type of things and all that. So the
Right.
number has crept up over time from, it used to be 5 to 10% was a good number, but it's not a good number anymore.
So that's where I was gonna go next, our fund balance. So we have a very strong unencumbered fund balance at the moment. You've referenced here a couple of times what our policy is, the 15 to 17%. That's just purely informational for the reader of the document. That means really nothing to you from an audit perspective, other than the fact that we have a policy in place.
Yeah, it's a required disclosure if you have a policy.
Okay.
But a lot of towns could
Don't-
be higher, could be lower than the policy,
Right.
but that's.
The fact that we sit at 23% is strong, but it doesn't sit within our policy. That's not meaningful to the audit. If we drop to 10%, that would be more meaningful to the audit?
Well, because it's a policy and you set policy, it's more communication to the users
Just
of the financial
disclosure.
statements than it is
Okay.
from an audit perspective, because we're more clinical, the number is the number.
Got it.
And if it's 10% and your policy is 17, then
In other words, you would still provide a clean audit even if we sat at 10%, even though our policy said 15%.
Correct, from
Correct.
that, because it's just the policy.
Gotcha.
Versus,
Understood.
we'll say with the pension, if you're using 10% discount rate, then you're gonna get a comment that that's not reasonable.
Right, okay.
Because it affects some of the
The-
financial.
The actual
numbers.
financial
Right.
impact, okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'm good, thanks. James?
Hey, guys, in terms of the compensated balances or estimate that had to be recorded this year, was there any kind of industry guidelines on how to come up with that estimate? Or was that just management just throwing darts at a dartboard kind of thing?
We provided a methodology.
Okay.
You know, to try to calculate what we call expected use, and it was a little somewhat, you know, from a historical perspective. The standard allows us to do sampling by union and that type of thing, so we kind of developed a different approach that's more current, it'll adjust year to year, so if people start using more sick time than the previous year, then the liability is gonna go up, because that expected use calculation will change in real time, year to year. But the standard allows you to like sample some people and then, you know, use the same percentages for 3 years, but
Okay.
I just like something that's a little bit more real time.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if it was your first time through and, you know, organizations across the industry realize, oh, you know, we, maybe we should have put this in there, and then all of a sudden you got another extra amount coming through, the following year, but.
And we provided some pretty detailed guidelines,
Okay.
and for most of our clients, it was more, this is the data we need, and we kind of helped a little bit with the calculation,
Sure.
as long as we had the raw data, so, you know, across all our clients, it's kind of a consistent
Okay.
logic to how the liability was calculated.
And that includes Board of Ed employees as well? It's not just town-specific employees?
Correct. So the big change, like I said, is it used to be only recorded liability if it vested.
Right.
Now that
Yeah.
they added this whole expected use, again, it doesn't change your budget, so I'm not sure what the value is, because it's already budgeted,
Right.
or will be budgeted, because you're gonna pay that person when they're out, if they have the time. So it's a little bit philosophical by GASB,
Yeah.
that this is a real liability, but it's not gonna change your cash flow.
Right, right. Okay, thank you.
So one of the joys of being down at the end of the line is people have asked all the questions that I was going to ask.
That's why I like to sit there.
I just pick a side and.
No, it's fine. Just to follow up on the recommendations, great, you guys are gonna discuss this. We can then expect sometime during the course of the year, a report on implementation of those changes. Perfect. Put it on the agenda for July or something.
I'm sure they're gonna be, you're gonna be proactive on it, so
I'm not,
Well, I already have to answer them to the auditors, so.
Yeah.
yeah, but actually identifying it and saying this is the changes we're going to make, and then saying the changes are in place and the results is what
Right,
I'm.
yeah, I kinda went over every one.
Perfect, thanks.
Just a quick clarifying one, on page 15, 16. Maybe,
audit book?
yeah, the audit book, yeah. Maybe this is just a beginning year, end of year type of thing, but I guess, what am I looking at on the left that is different than the tables on the right? Specifically, I guess, on the left page, it has the net position, total net position in 2024 of 121,393. Are you with me there on the left page?
Yep.
And then on the right page, it says net position July 1 of 2025 at that same number, 121,393.
Well, it's the ending from 1 year is the beginning, I don't know if that's what you're looking at.
That's what that's what I'm trying to figure out, because,
I was looking at that one, I'm sorry.
oh,
This was June 30.
I mean, this one says, on the right page, it says net position July 1 of 25.
This is June 30,
And then
Yeah.
that's June 30,
24.
24, that's July 1, 20.
right.
Yeah,
That's-
July 1, I see.
Like on the left page, it's June 30th, 24, and the right page, it's July 1 of 25.
It's the net change. You're going down from
There's,
net change.
there's
to
no
July
years
1.
attached to the dates, because they're comparative, so 23, it's 25 and 24, so that's why it just says July 1 and June 30. So June 30, 24 is the beginning, July 1, 25. If you just look diagonal, or net position July 1 is the June 30, 24 number.
Net position for the year beginning, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm confused.
It's fiscal years. So that
Fiscal
would be
year.
July 1st of 2024.
Yeah, they're two separate.
So it ended at 121,393, and you start at 121,393.
Okay.
These are
Yeah.
two
Yeah,
independent
it's
years.
actually
They
stacked.
can-
June 30, 2025 is for 2020, no, June 30, 2024.
It's just, it's confusing because it's in the 2025 column, but
Yeah.
it ends
Okay.
here, comes up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, all right,
Rotates
yeah, that's it, again, there's probably just some, that's why I figured it's some kind of,
It's just,
Year
that
thing.
the-
okay,
it's, really, these are two independent fiscal years, so the
Yep.
24 column is 7/1/23 to June 24, and the 25 column is 7/1/24 to June 25. They're completely separate financial. If you look at last year's audit, you'll see the 24 numbers. So it's just comparing the 2 years for discussion purposes, like what were the changes.
okay, okay. On page 27, I just want to understand the school building. Thank you for spiking out the school building fund. Maybe we can just go through some of the major features about that fund. And part of it is, I understand this ends June 30th of this year, but just for the backdrop, we're still waiting on a $12 million like reimbursement payment for things that, you know, could have potentially been paid prior to June 30th for sure, but potentially even after then. So I'm just wondering how this kind of materializes, because when I look at the bottom line, you know, the negative fund balance, is that the kind of the bottom line in terms of, hey, we've come out of pocket for more than we've gotten, both in reimbursements from the state as well as what those ban covered?
As of June 30, that's.
As of June 30th, just a snapshot at that point in time.
Right, there's some of the timing with reimbursements and in general with the state. We don't normally book the receivable because if you've been through the audit before, you don't know what you're actually gonna get. So when you get close to the end, so if there's a receivable, we might look at next year, your cash receipts, but it just creates an accounting problem if you book a receivable for $5 million and the state comes back and says, no, you owe us $5 million.
Right.
So
So this is more like a true cash accounting basis, like did the money come in or not, oh, we're waiting on a receivable.
Right. And again, the timing of the reimbursement, if you spent $5 million in June, the state's not gonna pay you till September.
Yep,
Type thing. So when it gets close to the end of the project, you'll have a clearer picture of what
Yeah.
your requests are as far as what you're asking the state for, compared to what the financials say that you're supposed to get.
sure, but just like taking this as the point in time as of June 30th, if for instance, you know, we spent 5 million more in July of 25, say, and received no state reimbursement, then this $3 million in you know, shortfall in fund balance would actually be like an $8 million shortfall, right? Like,
Right. I mean, part of what's driving that, if you look at page 25, is you got $10.1 million in payables. So those are showing it as expenditures, but you didn't pay that yet. So from a cash flow standpoint, oversimplifying, you're positive, but your retainage, 2.5 million, you don't pay that to the ends, but it's still required to be reported as spent because you owe the money.
yeah,
And same with the $7.7 million. So when you look at that $10 million, then you're positive. But the accrual accounting or modified accrual in this case is required to say you owed that money at June 30, and that's what's driving the financials
That's what's
into a
reflected.
deficit, the fund balance. But it's just timing. This is the way cap projects work in general. Because because a lot of times they're spending and then the timing of your financing, settles it up. In this case, you did some of the financing, but in general, got projects run deficits until you bond, which is more towards the end, or in this case, the state.
Okay, then, but back on page 27, the 44 million number, capital outlay, would that be describing the amount of money that was actually dispersed in payments over the 1 year period?
Well, that includes that $10 million on the other page.
That
So
includes that,
So it
okay.
wasn't dispersed, but that's.
It was incurred, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
okay. Okay. I think that's it, thank you. Oh, maybe, last one on the school building. Will this fund continue to exist when, going forward, so for next fiscal year and beyond, like, until we pay back the, kind of the long-term loan, we took out, or was this just meant to be a temporary placeholder until kind of everything got into the mode where we're just in long-term borrowing, payback?
Yeah, it's not tied to the loan, so it'll go away kind of when you're done spending, or when the state finally pays you, because
Okay.
it could take a while, but
Yep.
it's not tied to how long it takes to pay back the debt, it's just how long does it take to get your final check from the state.
Okay, so till the project is closed.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Makes sense. Are you good, Matt?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Hey, the nice report here, only because we talked about it a bunch, the MERS funding there at the 72.88. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? That is a state level funding, that's not Cromwell specific funding,
That's of the MERS plan in total, correct.
total, right? Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm saying, I just want to make sure, okay, yeah. So then, page 46, the investments, on that page, nothing specific with any one of them, but on this page, does that include pension money as well? Is that all kind of intermixed inside here?
It is, you see
Okay.
less fiduciary funds, so you have 56 million in total, minus the fiduciary funds, which are pension.
The pensions and everything, okay, all right,
And
okay.
then, so 22 million is kind of the non-pension.
Non-pension cash, right? But that's not our fund balance, because our fund balance is 14, so 12 million of other monies or so is kind of in there?
8?
Or 8, maybe
Yeah,
8, yeah,
delta.
8, that's true,
Is
yeah,
it-
14,
okay.
yeah, thanks, John, for the
No,
math.
hey, that's what I'm here for.
Right.
Sorry.
Well, there's a lot of other things
Sure,
going
of
on.
course,
You
yeah.
got receivables, you got payables, so you gotta look at the whole balance sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you have the cash, and plus you may have the cash, but other funds, intercompanies.
Sure.
So there's a lot of things that would, why those two numbers, and I mean, that's the whole pool accounting distorts that.
Sure.
So cash isn't your fund balance,
Got it.
because all those other accounts, if we looked at Exhibit C,
Okay.
are driving that. And again, this is the total for all funds, it's not the total for general fund.
Okay,
So
all right,
it's-
thank you.
So there's some other fund that has investments
Sure.
also, then it's in that total.
Okay, thank you. Page 87, and this caught my eye, I'm sure you'll have a good explanation, I'm sure it's probably not. But on the bottom of page 87, there's in the table there, there's a year fund net position will be depleted. And I just picked up on net position, maybe it's, I'm not sure I understand the term, but it'll be depleted in 2027. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, it just jumped out, I was like, that doesn't sound good, but maybe it's not, maybe it's just a thing on a page, but it doesn't look good, to the optics, but just, I'm sure you'll explain it to me.
Okay, so this is related to state teacher retirement, healthcare, OPEB. So like the towns, the state didn't fund OPEB as heavily as pensions, so this is way behind. So this is the projection by the actuary that and this number just keeps going up a year. If you keep looking, it's basically got a 1-year life until the state puts in a lot of money. So yeah, but this has no impact on the town directly, or it impacts your teachers because that's their benefit, but the town is not funding this plan. The state is funding this plan.
So it'd be like you're retired. It'd be like my employer having a statement to me saying Social Security is gonna run out by 2070.
Sure.
They don't have anything to do about it, but it's informative, I guess, yeah.
Page 81. Where is it? Oh, yeah, yeah. And I don't know, again, this may not be a question you can answer or want to answer, but in the top part there, it lists the asset classes under fixed income, and we've got 41% of the money in there, that's not the question. But then it says the long-term expected real rate of return is 15%. That just struck me as an oddly high number.
Yeah, so it does look high, but that's not our, I mean, I'm not sure if the investment advisor, that's coming from the actuary, that they expect 15% return, so I
And
don't.
Joe, I think this gets back to, your guys rolling this audit is not, the numbers are the numbers, you're not necessarily going like, that's like odd, we should like write that up or something like that, just doesn't make sense, right? That's not something that would fall into your audit.
You know, what we're focused on is the 7.31 versus your discount rate. So if the 7.31, and you're supposed to earn 6.9, and this is 2.9, that's when we're gonna have a comment. But if the investment mix, the projected long-term expected rate of return is higher than the 6.9, then from an audit perspective, we're happy that your investment mix is getting you to your assumption.
And last question, on page 107, 108. And really, it's page 108, really. And again, I know the OPEB one we've talked about, it's only been 10 years, we're trying to catch up to it and all, and it just is, I'm not looking for a problem, I'm just trying to understand the contribution excess or deficiency, which looks like it's a deficiency for many years, other than 2019. I was just curious if the actuary has a determined contribution, and why would we be putting below that and have a deficiency on that? And again, if that's out of your wheelhouse, I'm sure you understand, but if you can't answer from an audit, then don't try to, but I was just curious if you had an opinion on that.
Well, I mean, if the actuary tells you put in 354, then you need to budget 354. If you only budget 311, then you only put in 311. So that's kind of a budget issue. So what information you have for the budget, do you have what the actuary is saying?
Sure.
But this is all that actually happened.
Okay.
The town kind of controls that.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Just going back to the recommendations for a second. I was gonna add this, my questions for Denise, but, just to make sure I have it clarified. Condition advance payments for tax collector, B, does not accept tax payments for subsequent fiscal year. Does that mean that we have taxpayers that wanna come in and pay us ahead? And
Yeah.
we won't take their money?
That's what it means, yes.
I just wanna make sure I clarify that, because I've never asked to do that, so.
Yeah, a lot of towns, I have towns that have $5 million in payments before June.
In payments that come in
Yeah, I think
before
Brian mentioned they put something on the bill that said this payment is not due on July 1, because I think people were getting their letters on June 20th.
So-
It
so-
says there, this payment is due on July 1, but I think they had to say something like, you cannot pay it before
pay it,
July
not send
1,
it
and you
in.
have the
Gotcha.
month,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can pay it, as long as your tax bills are done, like your budget's adopted and your tax bills, the software system has the ability
Yeah.
that anyone can come in and pay, and it just gets recorded.
I guess I wasn't thinking of that shorter time period. I was thinking of like paying, my 2030 taxes today.
Oh, you can't do that.
Negative on the collections.
Try to get ahead of it. Get a discount. If I could get a discount, if you could do an actuarial table, of how much it's worth for me to pay ahead.
Exactly.
That's right, lock it in. All right.
So I'm just looking on page 25 and 22, and just so that I feel like I'm probably missing something here, so that the total government funds on page 25, that column there. If I add the cash and the restricted cash, should that equal the amount of cash on page 22, or?
No, I mean, are you looking at the 43 or the 26? Like what number on,
The 15,893 in the far right column,
as compared to what?
as compared to page 22,
So it'd be 16,180.
16,118 on page 22.
That would add, right?
Okay.
If I add the cash and restricted cash, is that meant to be a?
No, it ties in that other footnote that we looked at, the 56 million minus, so you have cash on page 30 of 225,000. So again, the cash on the top statements is every fund, not except for like pension, except for fiduciary. So that 225 would be part of the difference. That should be the only difference. I didn't do the math, but then you also got to look at the restricted cash down below. Like, it's all been proved out. It's not direct, but if you look at, well, you still can't see it exactly.
Right, so basically the total on page 25 is not actually the full total of what I'm seeing on page 22.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
yeah, the top statements are the accrual. That's the other basis of accounting. So there's no different basis for cash, but it's just presented differently. So it's just kind of hard to line that up.
Gotcha. Thank you.
See, it wasn't too painful, was it?
No?
All right, thank you for your work, really appreciate it. And thank you for the letter with the feedback and the processes. I'm sure we'll take a look at that as well, but, we very much appreciate your time. I think we got a lot of good information out of this, and I think we feel like we're in a great spot, so, just, thank you.
Sure.
All right?
All right.
All right, drive safe. All right. Just get myself organized here. All right, good to move on. New business. Item I, can I have a motion for discussion and possible action to approve an appropriation in the amount of $14,700 within the CNR fund for the 2025 Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant, which is 50% reimbursable?
So moved.
I have a second. Moved by Mr. Wagonowski, seconded by the vice chair. Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Oh, fantastic.
All right. Why don't you kick us off? I think we've done this a few times
Done this a
before,
few
but
times, yes. We're looking
let's do it again.
For $14,700 from the capital non-recurring for the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant, which will be 50% reimbursed to the town.
Short and sweet. Kind of like it. We'll start this way.
Just 31 officers, 13 vests needed. How do we get that? Is that what this is saying?
So every 5 years, the bulletproof vest is expired.
Right, I got that.
So out of that, there's not, everyone's on the same cycle. So this is the total cost of who's up for replacement.
Yeah, so everybody's kind of on a different 5 year, it's like half.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Or
Okay,
maybe,
not quite.
it depends. Some years may be 4, some years may be 10, some years may be 3.
Okay. Okay, good.
And maybe just sharing too, we put this in the budget, right? The 14.7's already, we put that in the budget already? No. Oh, no, this comes out of the CNR fund, so, right, it's not in our operational budget, of course, then, just CNR funds. But do we plan it as a CNR request every year then, or I can't remember?
You never know when they're gonna get approved. When they get approved.
Plus, if you usurping, it would be a violation.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed? Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
All right, take care. All right, next item up, hearing and deliberation dates for the next fiscal year budgets. Mr. Vo, do you want to pop up? Guys, everyone's got their calendars. All right, so, I know, Mr. Flanders, I know you're joining us kind of for the first time around with this thing, so let me walk through kind of what typically goes on. Typically start, what's the earliest we can start, Sharon? Is it
Second.
April 1st?
I've
Um,
been on this board, I've been the first selectman, I've been a selectman, I really know the process.
My apologies. I guess maybe I was talking lately.
So, John, I was
Sure.
gonna say, I am not available on the first, so I can start the second.
Right, okay. So, April 2nd's a Thursday.
Yes,
April 3rd is good, right. So,
Right.
my hope, I guess to start with the first one, is everyone good with April 2nd? And that is when we will do the public hearing,
yep, and we do the presentations.
and, right, and then we will kick in and do the Board of Ed, typically that evening, to deliberate, because we have all the members here. So, does anyone have a major issue with the second? Now, I know Mr. Maley was good enough to email me. I think the second was good. Yeah, yep. So, do we know have you had any communication with the Board of Ed? Do they have these dates?
Yes,
Or
they
they?
are aware of the dates.
Okay, they didn't come back with any pushback?
No, I listened to their Board of Ed meeting the other day, and Enza discussed that it's any one of these dates, and she put out some dates.
Okay, all right. Does anyone have a problem with the second? You have a problem with the second?
I'll be out of the country on that day, so as long as you don't need me, then.
Well, Chris, that's kind of strong. I mean, we'd like to have you here.
I will not be here on the second.
Across the pond.
So you'll dial in then?
Sure. I will dial in, yeah.
All right. Unfortunately, Mr. Quigliano may not be able to, but, everybody else, no problem? All right, so let's,
Time?
I mean, I'd love to
I think
do
we did
6.
I feel like we did
Last year,
6.
we started, six.
6 o'clock, yeah.
Anybody got an issue with 6? All right, can we make sure, and I want to get consensus from everybody, I believe the way we did it was we did the hearing, then we did the Board of Ed, then we did the Board of Ed capital
No,
items.
we did the Board of Ed capital last year with general expense, because it's in our budget.
No, but we had Claudio and we had Enza here.
Yes,
Yeah.
so what I did this year on your table of contents, you have all the departments that have CNR. I listed CNR, so we don't skip a department this year.
Okay,
That's good.
So that's when you wanna do theirs? I know we revisit it
Order
again
that we
when
do
we
it,
do.
order that we do it might make sense because it would dovetail with hopefully some of the administration there from the schools.
that's what I mean, I'm just trying to make sure I hit as many birds as I can with a stone, that's all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it would've been nice to go through all CNR, but then do. Oh, we can't do public works CNR and all this. No, we were just saying the schools.
no, we were just saying for this
Yeah, but
education
their
one.
CNR is in our budget.
No, we understand, but we don't need Lou here, right?
No,
We
you don't need Lou.
Right,
That would be the request, yeah.
well, didn't we do that, am I thinking of 2 years ago? Wasn't there a year?
We kinda did like a preliminary approval, and then we actually, remember, went through it all again, and then actually we changed it, we kind of said.
No, but we did actually line item approve things, I know,
Oh,
we
yeah, but then we
reversed
revisited
course.
it, that's what I'm saying, we
Yeah.
revisited, I think when Tony was there, I think we revisited it.
All I'm just trying to get at is if we have people in the room,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's all I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
I think Tony would have to be here though, because ultimately town manager makes a recommendation.
I mean, was he there last year?
I don't, that's what I'm
thought
saying, I
he
don't
was.
think so,
Oh.
not until we went through the second time, and then he was there.
Well, I'm just saying, because obviously I want to communicate with the Board of Ed appropriately that, you know, we're asking you to come on this date at this time, and these are the things we're gonna cover. So I guess my question back to you guys is then, if we're gonna be discussing their CNR items, I'm assuming we want those people there in the room to discuss those as well, right, or no?
Well, definitely Claudio.
Yeah.
Because that's who, when I made up the list, Sharon and I sat down with him.
Well, because in past years too, right, haven't we, if we were able to finish the Board of Ed the first night, don't we normally then dive into?
We never finished till midnight last year, the Board of Ed.
No,
went
I'm
till
saying in previous
midnight.
years we have,
Yes,
because we've gotten started,
Previous years, we were able to do a few other
Right.
departments, last year, no.
right,
And then we had to have.
what? Am I incorrect?
We had to have Claudio back on the third night because we
Yeah, he
tabled
came back on
items.
the third night,
We
yes.
tabled items the first night because you didn't have all the information necessary for
And he came back.
This was last year?
last year.
Yeah, and he couldn't make it the next meeting. and then
Yeah,
we-
but
Yeah, he couldn't come to this.
Well, and this is why I want to communicate all this now.
How about we do the CNR first then?
Before we do the Board of Ed?
No, right,
Well-
no, do their CNR first before you dive into their budget.
That's what I was asking, yeah.
Yeah, that way Tony could be
Why,
there.
that's not good? It's better than being at the end.
I don't, like I said, I just want to make sure we're communicating clearly when we're doing what. That's all.
That's up to you guys. I mean, if you'd like to start with the Board of Ed CNR. I
What-
mean,
what-
because Tony and I have to be here for their CNR.
I like the idea of starting early, that Tony and Sharon can, Tony and Sharon can be here at the beginning, right? We'll do the presentations, however long they take.
We won't be
Yeah.
ready,
or not.
I was gonna say, to start ours, well, I guess we would be.
No, we should just do the Board of Ed that night, because Claudio will be here. And if Claudio has to come back because you guys table something, or, you
Yeah,
revisit
you
it,
can
I
go
mean,
back
that's,
on, night 2 or 3.
because what we did was went through all the department CNR, and then when we got to the general expense line item, where the total CNR number was, you guys went through all the items one more time, and Steve was right, we knocked out some more Board of Ed items that last night.
Okay. So,
It would be, if we could do their CNR, right after the presentations and start with that.
all right, so we're going to do public hearing,
Yeah,
then Board of Ed CNR,
yeah,
then Board of Ed operating.
yeah.
And then everything else, we're done in one night.
Cool.
Good, okay, cool. No one fought back on that.
So that first night on the schedule, all I will have is the Board of Ed. I won't have any other departments.
Sure, like I said, I thought I remember there were times we were able to at least get through some of the smaller items, but if not, then fine.
Yes.
Okay,
Last year was different.
right,
Last year was different.
okay. No, we'll just do, we'll start with the Board of Ed CNR, and then we'll go into the Board of Ed. Anybody have any issue with that? I know you do, but that's for a different reason.
You're good with that, Chris? I mean, you're calling in at a very odd hour, so.
I'll be dialing in 6 hours ahead.
Okay, so that's the first date. Now, the second one. Sharon, I know you mentioned that this room is only available on the Monday and the what, and the Thursday?
Yeah, it's only available the next week, the 6th and the 9th, this council chambers.
Okay. I've been asked about trying to avoid the Monday if possible. What happens if we need a night and it's not in this room?
Remember that one year we did it in the building room?
We did it a couple years in the building room.
It's recorded, right, Tony, but it's not
That was it last year.
videotaped.
Wasn't last, it was 2 years ago.
Public hearing?
No.
To set up the recorder. I'd have to see if I can, the librarian has the person working at the time set up the recording device so that the meeting would be recorded.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll work it backwards. Thursday, the 9th, right? would there be any I know we gotta figure out a third date, but would there be any reason that we couldn't use that as either the second or the third date? Everybody good with that?
This room is available, is it?
Yes, yes.
You'll be out of the country this time. Jeez, all right.
Apparently, was with Chris.
Are we splitting into the week of the 13th then? As it
Well, that's what I'm saying. So we have the second and the 9th. Now if we want to get a date between those two,
Okay, the 9th, 6 o'clock, right?
the 9th at 6, I'm hoping that's gonna be our third emergency date though.
Oh.
And I'm hoping that we can either do this then either the Tuesday or the Wednesday.
The Wednesday is town council.
It's town council.
So-
It is a town council
And
meeting.
what's on Tuesday?
P and Z.
Might be plans,
It is planning and zoning.
Okay. But if we have a hearing going on over at the other room, that's not gonna impact either, well, you guys need to be here for, do you guys go to P and Z? I apologize, I don't know. No.
if you're looking at the 7th, we should be available.
But I have to get the room. So do you want me to try to get a room tomorrow and contact you?
If,
We'll get the room one way, we'll get a room
Monday the 6th is
one
okay?
way or another.
Monday the sixth is no good?
I've been asked about avoiding the 6th. There's both parties have their meetings that night and that kind of thing, yeah, so. So, what's that?
Again, they move their meetings a little easier. I don't know.
Okay. What's that? So Tuesday, all right, so let's do this. If I have consensus from everybody. If it's possible tomorrow to look into Tuesday the 7th, if we can have the room, or have the Belden room that night, as for the second date, we'd appreciate it. If for some reason that does not work, then I guess we'll fall back on the 6th. How does that sound for everybody? April 7th, 6 PM, or the 6th at 6 PM, but, if we can get the Belden room on the 7th, that would be the way to go. And then the 9th would be our third date, which, at least my experience here, we haven't had to go to, and I'm hoping to keep that streak alive.
We went there last year.
The third date?
Yeah.
We did?
Yep.
Man, I'm really not on my game tonight.
I have the benefit of looking at the minutes, that's why.
Short meeting.
I'm trying to look at it, yeah.
It could, yeah.
I think that midnight on the first night kinda did it.
I see. Maybe I just blocked it from my memory. That's probably it. Anyway, all right, we're gonna start a new streak then. How about that? We'll do that. All right, so the 2nd, please let the Board of Ed know. And then the 7th and the 9th, and if the 7th for some reason can't work, then we'll go with the 6th. Everybody good?
I'm sorry, the 9th, 6 o'clock still? then?
Yeah. We'll just do 6 for all of them. Unless anyone has a real issue with that. Do I gotta take a formal vote on that? Or am I, we good? No? Okay. Good? All right. Moving on, approval of minutes of the previous meetings. I'll give everybody,
You know what, just to be safe, take a vote on those 3 days.
sure, all right. So, I'll I'll verbalize it just to make sure that we got it right. Can I have a motion for a 6 o'clock start on all potential meeting dates, starting April 2nd, April 7th, and April 9th, with April 6th as the backup if the 7th is not available? Moved by Mr. Flanders,
Second?
second by Mr. Wagonowski. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Dates are set. Thank you. Okay. Give everybody a few minutes. We will take a look at the meeting minutes from the previous 3. All right, anybody have anything between all three? Except not, I'll just make one motion.
Just
Go ahead,
the
go ahead,
typo,
man.
I guess the typo for the January sixth meeting, the election of the Board of Finance Vice Chairman.
Yeah.
Instead of Education.
That was what I knew I saw something before. It was killing me, I didn't write it down. Finance. That was it. I mean, unless anyone really wants to.
Well,
You know what, never mind. You know, we're not gonna go
records-
that
the
thread.
records speak for itself.
Anybody have anything else?
So the joint meeting,
Yeah,
are we focused on the entire meeting or just the finance piece of that meeting?
There was two agendas done, there was one.
Just your section.
Just your section.
Yeah, the town council did another agenda.
Okay. Okay, I was fine with our section, but I didn't think they captured the ending of the first meeting very well. I thought there was takeaways from that meeting that still needed to be communicated.
I mean, has the
From the-
council gotten any updated report
The
from,
council, from our,
from the WIS thing at all, or no? You can wait until your reports if you want, but,
yeah,
yeah, Dan, why don't we'll,
the consultant, that's fine.
We'll
Yeah,
ask
that's
it
fine.
the-
If we're just focused on the finance one, I was.
all right. Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 20th, January 6th, and January 20th, including the one change from Mr. Blanchett?
So
Did I say
moved?
that wrong?
So,
Moved by the vice chair?
I was in all three meetings, that's fine.
Someone want to second it?
Second.
Second, Mr. Blanchett. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Aye. Opposed? Who are my abstentions?
Abstain from the two January meetings.
Okay.
And I'll abstain from the January 20th meeting. I'm gonna abstain from the January 20th.
Now, should I separate them out then? I'll separate them out. May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 20th?
Second?
Moved by Mr. Flanders, second by Mr. Waganowski. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from January 6th?
So moved?
Second?
Moved by the vice chair, second by Mr. Waganowski. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
No, that, pending the,
The finance
change.
change, yep,
Yep.
from education.
Yep.
Abstentions? Mr. Flanders, can I have a motion to approve the January 20th meeting minutes?
so moved?
Moved by the vice chair, second Mr. Fidelli. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Abstain.
Abstention, Mr. Waganowski, Mr. Flanders. Okay. See, I try to be more efficient and turn it longer. I'm not on my game tonight. It's been a few months. I don't know what it is, but I'm not on it. Report of the town manager.
Back at it, John.
Tony, good evening. How are you?
Fantastic if it would, stop snowing.
Hey, listen,
On weekends
like I
and
said,
holidays?
my street, they did a fantastic job. They were coming down. They, just kudos to the town for that. I think they've done a nice job. Hopefully you've gotten the same
Appreciate it.
reports.
They have been knocking themselves out
Yeah.
out there. But it seems like every storm is coming on weekends. And part of my report would be that's probably one area that we will have some problems. We'll have to be looking in other areas within Public Works to address the number of storms. As unfortunately, that budget was cut 2 years in a row because people felt it wasn't gonna snow again, and it was cut, and as a result, we'll pay the price this year. Unfortunately, we'll probably be able to do some of the other projects we normally do. But Mother Nature has fooled us, and after 2 winters of not having a lot of snow, we're having snow. So, on that note, as I said, we'll be looking, probably within the Public Works budget to try to make up the difference. If not, then, we'll probably be back before the council in, your body here, to make a supplement, but I'm hopeful that we'll make it up within the budget. To answer Mr. Kelly's question, no, nothing yet. As soon as the weather breaks, monitoring, first step is to monitor the water tables, and then they'll go from there. And of course, we're looking at with talks of how to possibly fund some of the suggestions that were made on addressing the fields. Personally, if we're gonna spend, maybe it's time to look to see if we could purchase land that we could, you know, have appropriate fields that, you know, rather than spend over $1 million in addressing these fields. But that'll be all future talks before anything's decided, and I'm sure this body will play a role in that also. But,
Hey, Tony, just on that point, you know, my point was, in reading the minutes, I didn't feel like what you just said was properly reflected, so I don't know where those minutes will go, or how they get published, or how they get approved, or anything else.
I'll definitely talk to Amanda then, and we'll take a look at it. And if the mayor wants to add some more in there, then we can do that at the
Yeah.
next council meeting.
Okay, very good, thanks.
100 Berlin Road is moving along. The present developer is obtaining the permits. Then it's going to be sold to a new developer. Some of the changes are everything out there will be demoed, including the parking garage. There won't be any townhouses along the backstretch. It'll be two four-story buildings, apartments, and then the amenities within there, and about, don't hold me to it, 14,000 square feet of commercial space within it. So that is moving along, and they're hoping to demo it, from what I understand, as soon as the season breaks and construction can start. But they're moving forward on their permits. They're before our planning and zoning right now with that project. Other than that, we finished our budget, and as mentioned by the BOE, big item this year that we've been wrestling with is employee benefits, health benefits. We did go out, so we're looking at about 4 other vendors. One actually, as stated, didn't give a price, and we're seeing if we can come to some kind of resolution. We did plug a number in our budget, because our budget is due before the council March 1st, and if not, as the chair stated, we'll be back to address that when we come before you with the budget. But I've never seen anything where it jumped this high in the. This is my 11th budget now as town manager, and I've never seen anything where it jumped this high during that period. It's unbelievable, and it is national, so it's not only the town of Cromwell putting up with this, and it's not like we haven't tried. We tried, and it's just, I think, honestly ridiculous, the percentages that they're asking for. I don't understand it. I think we started at 50, right? We're down from 50, but not by much. Other than that, nothing that jumps out at me right now, and Sharon can address the budget better, but everything other than Public Works with the overtime for snow removal everything looks good as far as I know. Be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, just real quick, let's go back on 100 Berlin Road. A while back, there was, I think, a grant or whatever for the demolition, or the,
There was a brown field grant.
is that still in, we still have access to that,
We
or?
still have access to it, and that that'll be part of whether or not, when it goes to the new developer, if they're going to, go forward with that
Okay.
grant.
Okay. Where did I start last time? I think it's over here, so, screw it. Good.
Any update on the Popeyes? Popeyes?
Popeyes is moving forward, not as fast, but if you noticed, they have been working on it. I heard now that they opened their East Hartford store, Cromwell is next. And then you can go get your Popeyes chicken.
Obviously, you can feel free to comment. To what degree do you think the scope for CNR will be for the high school in terms of what components are being considered for the parking, the tennis courts, and maybe that was it, just the parking and the tennis courts?
Well, I put in for state bonding on the parking for the high school. And we ran that through Senator Lesser and Representative Carpino. So along with 3 or 4 drainage projects. So that's put the applications in about, about a month ago or so. So we're hopeful that we get something, some funding out of state bonding this year. The tennis courts is, in my opinion, down the road. It is slated to go over in the northwest side of the property, but I'd like to see the parking lot expanded, because that would really relieve some of the parking situations over there.
Okay, so that's something where we'll know whether we've gotten word back on the grants or not by the time we go to budget, so we know if we.
No, that would be at the end of the
the year.
legislative session.
Okay, so it'll
And
be,
we'll have to kick it to the next if it doesn't come through.
okay.
Yeah, so that, right now, that is not in our
Track,
CNR request.
You got it.
Okay, that was it, thank you.
Any insights on where the state's headed right now? It's too early to tell. Is there any tea leaves out there on state funding this year for?
No, it's too early.
Too
Yeah,
early.
we got it in, like I said, in the time frame, and I'm just hopeful that we get some funding on some of our projects.
Yeah.
And one of them being the bonding, and I'd like to start some of the design work on some of the drainage projects.
And so on the 100 Berlin Road, it's the high-end restaurant. Is that out of the picture now? Wasn't that one of the?
They will have commercial space, so
Doesn't sound like large, though.
anything's still possible with the
Okay.
new developer.
Okay. All right, thanks.
He's good.
Thank you, Tony.
I know, John, you've been there, done that.
I don't know that apparently, but that's a conversation for another day. All right, item L, report of the finance director. Mr. Vo, how are you? We're having fun.
In your packet are the budget reports through the end of January. And as the town manager mentioned, I am working with the Public Works Director on a regular basis about their overtime. We had a long discussion this afternoon. We are going to reconvene next week after payroll is posted for the Sunday, Monday storm we just had to see exactly where they are. Right now, the director and I are working to keep it within the Public Works Division, but like the town manager said, if we cannot do that, we will let the boards know. I do want to know, let everyone know, and I know Matt knows, we got an Eversource grant for an energy rebate for the new middle school for $511,247, which came to the town, and that went in our miscellaneous revenue account.
That's
go
just
back to
money that
school.
goes into the,
Yeah.
Yep,
Our general fund,
when did that come through?
last month, I think, yeah.
yeah.
All right. So that's not reflected anywhere here.
It's in the miscellaneous,
Oh, it's
Sources.
just saying in the.
Oh,
budget
it's
reports.
in the munis.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
The
I was
budget-
looking at like the fund balance stuff.
Oh, no, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
have it as a separate
Yeah,
line
yeah,
item. The budget meetings with the town council are next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, starting at 4:30. Any questions?
No, I mean, just real quick, to hopefully just jump on, it. I mean, as far as the fund balance report and the other, funding items here, I know you've made the adjustments based upon the audit. So obviously, the fund balance report obviously looks pretty clean now. And the interest income one, you anticipate that's gonna stay relatively steady from now to the end of the fiscal year?
Right, because the $40 million that we had in that, the school note is, that does not, it has a very minimal balance in it right now. So we won't be making the interest on that we were.
And the 15,000 from the CNR fund balance, you've reflected with the documentation behind here.
Yeah, they
From
had
that
to
closing out.
close this account due to a building code, so I put that money back in CNR.
Yep. Okay. We'll start this way. Mr. Flanders? Mr. Fidelli? Mr. Vice Chair?
Yeah, on the fund balance report, the 1.58, $1.6 million of projects still outstanding.
I just
The
had a
state
con-
audits, are they,
John just emailed again on the two projects last week when I was in there. We were going over the projects. One of them, I believe it's the Willowbrook Road. There's been a transition of people, and we keep getting a new person on the job. I did hear his conversation about the North Road Bridge. They're in the final stages of closing out that project. We're having trouble getting someone for the Willowbrook, and it is an extremely old project.
Right.
But John does he keeps track of the emails, and he emails
Right.
them on a regular basis.
what's the likelihood that money's gonna fall back into the fund balance?
You mean the 25,000?
All of those
All of
three, the $1.5 million. I mean, they're sitting out there because we're waiting on a,
The Public
audit.
Works facility is numbers I have a handle on, because that is in my
okay.
munis system, so that one's pretty current.
So I'm just not, so is that money that we're holding encumbered but haven't spent? And
For the
so,
Public Works facility?
yeah, all three
No,
of those
so-
numbers.
No, so for the public,
Three state projects.
there's two states, yeah.
Two state projects and then the right, the
Yeah, so
Public
for the
Works.
facility was because it was a 9.3 appropriation, but we only bonded 6.9. So there was a difference in what we got in money, and then the town and the sewer were gonna be on the hook for a percentage of the facility.
Right,
I might not.
I'm
be
just
making-
not, well, I'm just not we have it as a negative number against our fund balance.
Right.
But the money's sitting there encumbered, have we not, is that money to be spent at some point? That's money that's been spent, that's money that's
It's
sitting
been-
there?
For the Public Works facility, it's money that has been spent.
So it's already, so why is it sitting on the fund balance? Shouldn't it already be out of the,
I haven't closed out the project yet.
so it's not up in, it's not on our,
No, when I close the project, it will roll into fund balance. I'm working with John Harriman on closing out that project right now. They were you moving the
it's,
fuel tanks or the buildings or something?
if we spent the money, how is it not reflected in our financials already? That's what I'm really asking.
Because it's in a different fund.
So there's a fund sitting out there somewhere
It's
that's
called
not
the
part of
Public
our
Works
financials.
Yes,
That's
it's-
what I'm not understanding.
Yes,
Okay,
it's called the Public Works facility,
okay.
the fund.
All right, we can take this offline. I
Okay.
need to understand a little better, but, okay. How about, so the other two projects, those dollars are, could improve the fund balance, could reduce the fund balance, when they're, say the audit came in tomorrow. Is there a chance that we end up with more money in our fund balance because?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
So those are two
My
where,
calculation for the Willowbrook is lower than what we're gonna owe the state.
yeah,
The North Road, John said that that's based on retainage that we owe. And like I said, he did make a call when I was in there the
Okay.
other day.
So what he's asking is out of those two projects, any extra money that will come back
will come,
after
When
the
we,
state is taken care of.
I'll close it and it will roll back into the
yeah,
general fund.
into the general fund.
Approximately how much?
I don't know until they close the project. I don't know what the state is gonna, until the state audit is final, I don't know what we're gonna owe.
Somewhere between 0 to 100% of the dollars you have sitting on the
Yes.
page will go back into the fund balance, okay.
Yes,
So,
Problem, we're at the state's mercy on
understood, I understand, Tony, I'm just trying to understand
I
where the fund balance is gonna end up being, because my next question is, as we go into the budget cycle, understanding this is gonna be another difficult year as we went through last year, albeit the Board of Education budget that went to midnight the first time. And I understand our policy says we should not be spending that excess money to bring down taxes, to offset the mill rate, we put that specifically in there. But if we spent that money against CNR projects ahead of a mill rate conversation, is that available? In other words, if we went from 23% down to 17%, that'd be like $3 to $4 million of spending. Is that available against our CNR value? And bring our surplus to 17%, which is what our policy says. It's a question.
and I'm not 100% sure how, because the way John and I designed the fund balance report, that 14 is at the 23%, so that top number.
You're already at, we're sitting
Yeah.
at 22, 23%
So
right
John,
now.
do you understand where you?
Right, so.
Our fund,
So-
our policy says 17% at the top end.
Right, so if we look at the report, let me make sure I'm walking this right with you, Dan. Really what we're looking at, in theory, if those three things didn't exist, right?
Right.
We look down, we see the 10.886. That in theory is what we can have up top there and be solid for our current year. We agree on that?
Right.
That's where we're at,
That's like
okay?
16%.
Right? So right now, even with those three other projects, we're to the good, that 2.2 on the very bottom.
Right.
Right? So, if you took the 2.2 plus that 1.58 that's in there, that would be where the discussion is. Now, obviously, there's a bunch of variables, I think, that goes on top of it. A, we gotta obviously see where all the operating stuff comes in. Two, we also need to make sure, and I mentioned this in a meeting the other day, we also gotta make sure that we take into account the fact that if we're gonna bump up the town's, expenditures, we gotta reflect the percentage to go with it, right? So we need 6 figures or so just to increase the fund balance to take care of the increase from the operating, side of the house and the fence. The other variable we can look at too is, do we consider that 17% of that 2-month worth, do we consider CNR projects as a part of that or not? As well, because there's that aspect of it too.
Well, that part I don't quite understand. Okay, go
So
ahead.
I think, just like anything, I think we need to sit down, see what all the numbers and stuff shake out as,
Don't disagree.
and,
I'm asking,
and then as a group and a body,
I'm asking a philosophical, I'm asking, is there any constraints for us to make that consideration as we go into the budget cycle? We have a policy that says we want to sit between 15 and 17%.
Yeah.
We put a number in there that's, we measure ourselves against 16%, which is right between the two.
Yep.
I'm saying even if you went to the top end of that, at the 17%, there's still excess dollars sitting out there that we've just allowed to sit there in our fund balance, right? And the question is, we've made a philosophical choice to say, let's not take that money and say, okay, we're gonna take that money at the end, $1 million, although we've done that in the past, to lower our mill rate in order to get taxes down.
Yep.
But if we were to say, hey, we got $4 million of CNR projects that's being requested, capital projects, and we've approved them all, if we took that $3 million and applied that against that spend, so now you've just reduced the spend that's going to the taxpayers next year, that would get you to ultimately the same place relative to a mill rate conversation. It's just the way that you go about doing your budget process.
and that's where I think, exactly that
And-
point. Once we have more info, then we can make those kind of,
And I'm just asking a question
Sure.
relative to, is there any constraints or handcuffs on us as we do that. That's all within our purview.
No, I mean, I think as long as we stick to the guidance,
Yep, very good. Okay.
you know, so.
All right, thank you.
But wouldn't you
Dan?
wanna know that before you start?
I think it's open to a conversation that we need to have at the beginning of the process.
Well, again, I think we need to get all the detail in, we need to see, and again, I don't wanna add another layer to it, but we need to see what the grand list, right? And that variable, and that aspect to it. So I think there's just, we sit down, we look at all the numbers, we crunch it all, and then, to your point, Dan, we just, see how we wanna, approach and attack, and make sure that, again, we're staying within the guidance of the policy. But then, which way to skin it, we go from there.
And I believe we don't, but correct me if I'm wrong here, Sharon, we hold to our AAA rating, right? We hold that dearly, right? It's helped us with this bonding for our school, slipping from a 22% to a 17%. Nothing in our view of that has said to us that we'd go from AAA to
Double A.
AA.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the only consideration I can think of as we go through this, as we have other larger capital projects coming up, and we're interested in what the debt cost of that's gonna be coming forward. I know we have $30 million
I think it's a
of,
variable every time we do an S&P presentation.
list.
It's kind of all about where, where they
you're
are,
gonna handle that.
in their financials, what they're requiring for towns.
yeah.
All right.
Okay,
We'll go through it as we always do. All right, go ahead, Steve.
All right, I don't mean to go back to the public work facility, but just quickly, in the CAFR from last year, the public works facility had, basically, you can see it, Dan, had spent $8,546,911 out of the 9.3 million. And had a
Page on,
balance,
Steve? Sorry.
44 of last year's.
25.
Yep,
25.
and probably
Yeah, I looked at that.
45 of this year. And just look at this, we did do spend in this past fiscal year, because now the balance is only 413. So it seems like there's still money being spent there, whatever that's worth,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, no,
So
that's good.
maybe it's part of the project closing out, I don't know, that's why there's all these, still these variables. So there's still activity there, whereas probably the other one, that's got like 25,000 is probably like 5 years old or something like that, probably hasn't been spent on in years, but at least that one there, there's still, I can see why they're still trying to close it out, because there's still work happening to it.
Yeah, I remember when the
That's
Willsbrook
worth.
one was done, was that great?
Hey Sharon, just a couple quick questions. Normally we've been getting recently the miscellaneous sources detail page
Did you
in the
not
packet.
get that this time?
I don't think I see it in here. I swore I looked through it. I was
No,
like,
I'm
is it
sorry.
me? Is it
It's
me? Like, unless someone else got it,
No,
maybe I
it's
just didn't
been,
get it in mine, I don't know.
It's been a busy time in
No,
my
it's fine.
office
No,
trying
no,
to get
I
the
was
budget,
just-
and I
nope,
don't
that's
know
fine.
if the board
Nope.
is aware, but I am
Yep,
also
all good.
short-staffed again.
Nope, all good. Just wanted to ask. And,
No, you're good.
oh,
I can
sorry.
scan it to John.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, if you
yeah.
wanna get it, and I can email it.
That's fine. And I apologize if, I think I've made almost every meeting, maybe I missed something, just like everything, who knows, right? On the capital project fund, right, the balance of 1.8 million that originally came
Are you
from
in the
us.
audit book?
No, I'm in the, your CNR package thing, not CNR, I'm sorry, the fund balance report. Sorry, I called it the wrong thing.
It's page 2 of the fund balance.
Yeah, thanks, John.
The 1.8, the capital project fund, Sharon.
Yeah, the one, a couple of years ago, we put away for the schools, at least that was kind of our understanding and all, and I'm just wondering, or is it still actually sitting there as money?
Yes, we've
or-
already had this, we had the conversation. I have an interest payment due
Okay,
in April, for the new school this year, which we didn't budget for because I couldn't, because I didn't know what the number is gonna be, and it's a little under 900,000. So, I was gonna, appeal to the boards that we use this 1.8 to pay that interest payment in April.
sure, okay. And then would that would leave it 900,000 then, right? And I guess there's probably some restrictions, town council, I remember, did something to put some kind of restriction on some of the money, I thought, maybe not. But either way, that's great, so is that, oh, good. So could that 900,000 be used, like, to fund CNR projects then?
John and I had this conversation, and it was, we were basing it on the minutes from the Board of Finance meeting when that 1.8 was approved.
The intention was to use it.
This body is the body that
We put restriction on it.
You guys put the restriction on.
Right, so
yeah.
then how could we use it to pay more of the schools then? Could we pay, can we pay more principal down on the debt then, or
We
like?
can't prepay yet.
Oh, we could,
Voted on the restriction, vote to remove it.
Yeah, you could use that 900,000 for some of the CNR projects if you, like I said, I need 900 for the interest
Sure.
payment.
Do you foresee anything else coming down the line that might be unexpected or might come through like that, where those funds may be necessary, or we're in a good spot
Well,
now?
going forward, it will be in your budget. I budgeted for
The debt
principal.
service?
Yeah.
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 All right, so in theory then,
You can cut the
This-
debt service short by 900 and. have
we
that
could
be
apply the
made up.
900 towards the debt service?
I would think so.
I guess would we have to do that before we get into this budget cycle? Because if this is possible to use, if we have to make a decision at the board, to like move it up, make it available for CNR, then next thing you know,
Oh,
come,
like use it for an interest or a principal payment next year?
Yeah.
or that.
That's what I was thinking.
What year?
The 1.8, I want to.
It would have been the first year, it was the year that the debt, fell off.
I want to say,
I'd like to pull the minutes. And,
Sure.
And just have a talk with the town attorney. To make sure
That,
anything that's done is done appropriately.
if you're asking my gut feeling, that would have been our budget hearing in 2023, but it might have been 22,
it was.
It had to be somewhere in there.
No, it was 23, because it was me, not Mary Ann.
so 23.
The spring of 23 for FY
Yes,
24.
yeah, so 3 years ago.
That's what I was thinking.
Sure,
You're
yeah,
not
pull-
taking any action tonight anyways, so, we'll pull the minutes and I'll have a talk with the town attorney and make sure if you want to, move that money around, how it's.
well, here's what I think I'd like to do, is, Sharon, when do you think you'll know that exact interest payment?
I have it, it's on my desk.
Okay. So it's very possible, and I think we've done this in the past, where if we don't have any actionable items in March, we're probably gonna, postpone or cancel our March meeting.
Your March Board of Finance? We
Yeah.
usually have it because I give you your budget books.
Everyone will get the books,
Okay.
okay? Where I'm going with it is, we obviously will have we'll have a bunch of meetings the following week, right?
Yep.
So, if for some reason we don't have a March meeting, if we can know what that amount is, and we can also find out what the current restriction is on it, obviously I can communicate it to this body. And then, that way people can know, what's there, what's available, and how we currently have it earmarked. Okay? Now, if we have a March meeting, fine, but. All right, who had, Steve, was that you? Are you good?
Yep, good.
Mr. Blanchett?
Yeah, one question, it's probably, so I was looking again, this is why I was asking earlier about the cash. So the top line number, the 14,684? Is that where I should be seeing that in here? In the financials?
Yes, it's on,
Did I just miss it?
if you go to page 25,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
it's down there unassigned, the 14,684,060.
Yeah,
the unassigned is the there we go.
classification, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I saw it, yeah.
That's it, nice.
One more time around, everybody good?
Just one more question. Economic development, the $100,000 that was put in there, does that look like it's gonna get spent, or is that, we put $100,000 into the economic
the matching
development
grant.
for the matching grants, is that,
I'm not sure this year.
okay, so that's still outstanding?
I moved it out of the general fund into a multi-year fund, so
Yeah.
it carries forward.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
did move it out of the general. fund.
Okay, that's right, that's what we did last time too, right?
Yeah,
Was-
I
that's
moved
right.
it out.
I got you, okay.
Thank you, Sharon. All right. Moving on. It's finally time. How are we doing?
It's almost past my bedtime.
Well, first off, welcome.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you.
Good to see you, thank you.
Congrats.
A pleasure, I know most of you, except for Christopher, I think. But But it's a pleasure to finally meet you and to be in front of the board again.
Yes.
You never ran to the chief of police before?
Yeah, that's probably a,
I behave
He's
myself.
He's a townie, so you must have
I've been around for a while.
anyway. We hope you've been settling in all right. You know, obviously, you know, Brian obviously did a great job. I'm sure he hopefully showed you a lot of the ropes and got you going, but we'll turn it over to you. Let us know what's going on. Obviously, I know this year is a little difficult with some of the different appeals and things like that going on, so love to know what your opinion is, especially trying to get to the end of the year. So.
Sure. So first off, I really want to thank Brian. He coming in, he was nothing but spectacular in showing me the ropes, even prior to the election and after the election. I can't say enough good things about him and what he's done with the office, and he made it very easy walking in there. So kudos to Brian Sturmer. You saw the collections rate is at 91.2. That was last month's. This month we did pretty well. It's going up significantly. One of the bigger real estate bills was late, so it's going to be reflected in this month, which is nice. Unfortunately, they had a little bit of interest as well, so that also helps everything out. But yeah, February's collections have been relatively strong. I have talked with Sharon even before the audit report came out in regards to early collections, which I would love, and Sharon was all on board with that. So we are planning on doing starting early collections, meaning that it's, you know, either the first or, you know, a week or two before July, we'll start accepting payments. Hopefully all the bills will be out, and we'll start accepting payments early, which is going to be good. I know a lot of people, you want to pay your taxes early, I'll take your money. So, but, you
If you
know.
want to pay him twice, go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
I know we're around, you know, I believe Brian told me we'll be around a percentage less than what we typically are, what was budgeted, just because of the covenant living lawsuit and the loss of some of those funds. So, but I think we're doing pretty well.
So I'm sorry, so you're saying you anticipate by the end of the year we're at 99%, is that what you're saying?
I'm anticipating, yeah.
All right. So if we're talking 1%, how much are we, it's what, 600?
No, well, if we're expecting like 40, what do we expect?
Well, no, it says 40 something, well, I'm thinking the whole kit and caboodle.
51 million, John, 51,633.
Yeah, so half.
So a percent of that would be 516,000. Well, and the only thing would be, of course, we always see the tendency to go on the interesting, all these other categories generally seem to go above.
All right, so, yeah, so let me ask that.
I could tell you, you know, from the numbers that I just roughly
Yeah.
crunched today for here, we're in the about 50,215,000 right now. So we're getting close to the 51, but I mean that's just my projection. I don't want to over project. So.
Any idea, like if we get to April, like when we should kind of start to really kind of handle it? May? I mean, I'm just trying to think of when we got to really start to kind of look at this.
So this month we'll have a good projection because a lot of demand notices went out in February, so we do have a lot of collections this month, and they'll continue to start to trickle in. I've gotten some phone calls, you know, in regards to, you know, some taxpayers kind of in, you know, difficult situations, but that's the unfortunate thing. And I will be going to a tax attorney in regards to the top outstanding bills, kind of setting up some parameters in regards to if for real estate, if you know, combined real estate, if you owe more than $15,000 or you're 3 years grand list out, I'm going to send them to the tax attorney to start the process. From what Brian has told me, that he told me he sent like 18 properties to the tax attorney, and he got all all the money back, so, which is great. And that's will probably be in that same range, around 18 properties.
I was gonna ask about the same
Yeah,
kinda, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, all right, so bottom line, it doesn't seem like you're all that concerned falling short. Am I reading that right, or do you still have some?
I mean, I you know,
I
I
know
don't
you're
know,
new.
I kind of look at,
I
you
know.
know, previous years, what they've collected in other months, you know.
Yeah.
I know this month was pretty good, and it'll start trickling off a little bit, but, you know, I know every month it's gotten better and better,
Okay.
from past years, so I'm just kind of going off of what we've had in the past.
Just on the 18 properties, are those repeat offenders or are those
So,
new?
well, my parameters are gonna be, some names come up, often from what I've been told. So the parameters is, you know, 3 years of the grand list, like you haven't paid in 3 years. So, so we're going back to 22, they haven't paid anything. And some may be, you know, like condo, which is, you know, maybe only, $10,000, but I'm gonna go after that. Or it could be a 1 year where the property is valued, the taxes is over $15,000, and I will go after that as well, so, yep.
Hello.
Hello.
And the water district side, there's like, and it fluctuates, but right now there's about 40, maybe 45 accounts that owe like over $1,000 on their water bill.
Okay.
Some of them are chronic, and I was just wondering.
Are you
if-
talking fire district water?
Yeah, fire district water bills, right?
Yeah, we don't.
No, I
it's-
know,
okay,
no, I know.
Okay.
What I was just wondering is, if it made any sense to have a conversation for the ones that we're not getting taxes from, is that the same ones we're not getting water from? And is there any benefit to kind of either work together or something? I don't know, but just something there to cross that out. I mean, maybe the idea goes nowhere, but a simple conversation and, hey, can we talk? Can we kind of
Yeah.
compare notes a little bit? You know, maybe there's something going on there that, or maybe we can start to see it there before it shows up as a problem with the taxes. But I don't know.
Right.
But it struck me as maybe something worth looking at.
Okay, yeah, definitely, I'll look into that.
You'd have to check on that because you're not talking taxes.
Oh, I know,
You're talking commodity water,
of course.
so I'm not even sure.
Right, Tony, there may be there may be
Yeah.
this list, there may be absolutely nothing to do with, or, I don't know, maybe all of a sudden you see a bunch of them matching up for some reason.
Yeah, I'm actually going to a meeting on Tuesday, and the attorney that I'm looking at that we've used in the past is doing a presentation, so I have a bunch of questions to ask him, so it's a great question. I can certainly get into it with him.
And, you know, I'm not, this is Sharon's job, but the one thing to think about, if we do happen to be a little low on the taxes, right, we're already like well over $500,000 above in the interest income side.
Yeah, oh,
You know what I'm saying? Just
No,
in terms
it's-
of like that for the whole time, that, you know, it's
no,
obviously we
I
wanna
know,
hit the
it's
tax thing,
it's
but
how it all,
of course.
yeah. It's all how it all you wanna, look at it, yeah, it's just, it's, you never wanna be in a hole.
Of course.
That's all. Are you good, Steve?
Thank you.
Everybody good? I know you waited a long time. We appreciate it. You know, going forward, if you wanna show a little later, you're probably safe.
And if there are specific questions that you're gonna want an answer for, please, funnel them through John and I can talk, so this way I can certainly be prepared for anything that you may or may not, want,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
All right.
have a great night.
Yes.
And,
Back safe.
tomorrow is somebody's birthday.
Oh.
Well,
Going home to rest, it's, his birthday.
I have to get my nights.
time to break out in the song here?
As a,
We're not gonna talk about that either, John.
as a birthday gift, we're gonna reopen your report. All right, let's go. Let's get Happy birthday, Tony.
Thank you very much, but I'm gonna get even with a tax court.
Yeah. All right, guys, quick school building, and what we added on is a facility committee update and stuff as well. So Matt, we'll start with you.
Yes.
What's going on?
Yeah, I was not able to attend last night's meeting, but I did get a quick note from Rosanna there. I think it was just what I alluded to before. There's still a backup in the state reimbursement process. We, I guess, are expecting it any day now to receive a $12 million reimbursement check. There's another reimbursement request going in behind that sounds like can't get submitted until there's a resolution on the current outstanding one. And then beyond that, obviously, we said for the state audit, they hold back 5% of the funds, so, yep. I am interested to see how this will then be accounted for within that school projects fund. I think he said it'll stay open, the auditor said it'll stay open until the state project closed out, and then I wonder if it comes to the, the report, our fund balance report, as one of these items that's just like awaiting state audit, the actual payment, right? Like, so we can say the audit maybe is closed, but we haven't gotten the payment yet, or maybe the payment comes as soon as the audit's closed and the audit doesn't close for 5 to 7 years, so, maybe there'll be another line on that page. That's it. Oh, and then the PV, the solar panels were still kind of that largest outstanding phase of the project, but as far as I know, everything's still on track for that in terms of getting bids and getting that work done.
Questions, Matt?
Any questions?
All the snow, and any issues pop up, like roof issues or anything? Everything held strong? Yeah.
Yeah, not gonna, I wasn't at yesterday's meeting. I know there's some go backs on the, I think the softball field in particular. Just some things clarifying what was expected, what did we get in, warning track stuff, so there might be some additional expenses there. But nothing from like a water integrity or anything like that.
Really like the bus, the way the loops work now. So much more
Great, good, yeah.
easier, smoother.
So was a soccer field still needs to be,
The
Put
soccer
in.
field's all, the soccer field and they call it the multi-purpose field, that's all was sodded over. I think they're gonna see how well it took
okay,
in the spring to say whether they can have activities on it
for
for the
next-
spring, but if not, it would be for the
fall.
fall.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Good. Are you just gonna roll into the next school building project? Whatever that is? Or you're gonna stay on for the state audit, make sure that we get the money?
The Cromwell Events Committee is a large time commitment, yeah.
So the 12 million then, I was only sure, I heard, is it sort of like we're gonna sort of get a check, but we can't cash it? Or I don't understand, like, we actually.
No, the 12 million, once
cash.
it comes, that's ours, it's just, we're
tranche
waiting
of-
for it. And then there's one more behind it, I don't know, from a couple million or whatever, but that would go through this normal process where it'll get reviewed and then hopefully sent to us within the next 6 to 9 months, and then there's, after that would be the last one we can submit until they close the state audit, and then they will release the final payment, yeah.
I'm sorry, so is any of that 12 million gonna come to fund balance, or is any of the 5 and 11 that we got from Eversource coming to fund balance? or-
No, it would
No,
be the
yeah,
school
it's all
building
school,
fund,
yeah.
so like when, that's what I was asking, when you looked at that, school building fund, as of 6/30,
Yeah.
right, we'll say as of 6/30, I'll use the term as 3.8 million in the hole, 3.8 million in the hole, and running, because we issued checks to our partners. I know they said we had some, accounts payable, but we still issued checks in September, October, November, December, January, February, so like, the payments have kept going, and then that 12 will hopefully maybe keep us at level with that, or maybe not let us go in too much in the hole more, but, yeah, that's where it would go, not the fund balance. All right.
Thank you, Matt. Steve?
Just a grounding, only, and this will be like a one-time thing, so it's the Public Asset and Facility Committee, created by a town ordinance, and the committee members have been fully appointed, so we're up and running, that way. We've had a couple meetings, just trying to get up and running, and one of the things we're trying to do is go out and do site visits to all the town buildings. We're working closely with the schools to try to get tours of all their buildings and facilities, as well. And and I have a note here, kind of keeping an eye for October of this year is when we're supposed to be, as a committee, trying to work on helping the recommendations for the capital requests to come for FY '28 and for the 5-year capital plan, as well. And then I'm gonna go off script, because I didn't have a writing in here, so, the Board of Ed came to the town council, I wasn't here, but came, and I guess they have a surplus on one project of like $80,000, so don't hold me to that, it's a number like that. And they wanted to spend it on some other things. I think the town council said no, they wanted this new committee to at least look at it and have some recommendation for it, right? So I'm like, well, I'm not sure how we're gonna do that. So we were supposed to meet with the Board of Ed on Tuesday, and the Zoom call unfortunately couldn't take off. So we didn't do that. We're meeting Monday. And I'm not quite sure how it's gonna work. I said, it's just too bad we couldn't have met Wednesday, because we might have been here to be seeking approval to reuse those funds in a different way. Or at least,
Sorry, is this surplus for CNR, sorry?
it's a
Surplus
CNR
from a
project.
CNR
It was a
project, okay.
like $97,000 is one of the CNR projects. It only came in like at 19,000 or 18 or some number like that. And so there was like this, okay, what are you gonna use it for? And then apparently it came to town council, kinda got told no. And so now, and again, we're not a decision-making body. We're just there to try to assist or help make recommendations, about it. And one of the vehicles we're gonna do, we're just gonna participate in the Board of Ed Facilities meeting on Tuesday this week, but again, it just didn't happen. So we're gonna, it's rescheduled for Monday. So I don't know when that's gonna come through or not, but basically the intent was to use surplus from a product this year and try to reuse it somehow to help the schools in some way on some product they really need. So we'll have to see Monday where that goes. And after that, I'm not sure when it'll show up to this board, and only, gets back to thinking, when's the Board of Finance gonna meet next? Unfortunately, who knows? Maybe that'll be a trigger to have a March meeting. I don't know. I'm not trying to be scary about it, but, that's just something that's in flight right now.
Well, Steve, just so you know, the, on schedule for next week, the Board of Ed CNR, I believe, is on the last month, but I can confirm that with you.
CNR for FY '27, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but, so the Board of Ed has to come to the town council because it's town funds.
And what'll be a little, and again, who knows how it'll work out, will be
Right,
like,
but a lot of the items that you have are the items that Claudia submitted to Tony and I.
right, exactly. And the ones, if they wanna try to get some done this year, but if this doesn't happen for whatever reason, they'll probably say, oh, we want those done for FY '27, but they may miss the window, and all of a sudden, those will get kicked all the way out to FY '28. It's bad timing in our process. That's why we're gonna try to hopefully try to be a better partner and try to make a better process for this, so it doesn't end up in this kind of situation going forward, but it's just the way it is right now.
Any other questions for Steve? All right, chairman's comments, really don't have, too much. I'm glad we were able to kind of set things up for early April. Obviously just, start doing your homework. Once we kind of get numbers in, obviously I'll get you guys started with the, with the spreadsheet and stuff that I always get you guys to kind of get moving and start analyzing. But otherwise, if for some reason we don't have a March meeting, obviously I'll communicate with you when the books are ready and go and grab them. But, otherwise, I appreciate everyone's time tonight. I think that's kind of it for me. Mr. Vice Chair, anything?
Well, first off, I just
I did have
Mr.
one.
Rayleigh just out of, traveling.
One quick thing, so, Community Events Committee, right, the Riverport Festival. We do have a request in the town budget, so you'll see that coming through here. If we had been doing this, say, every year, we would have been much better positioned to have had all our ducks in a row. We have 15 people, really have 7 people permanently on the committee, another 8 volunteers, so we got like 15 people. And basically every day, it's like a 7-day-a-week job, honestly. With just stuff flying through, we're trying to make decisions on stuff, we're trying to do the best we can. Every day, we're updating our cost model and what we're doing, what do we need, what are we doing? Like I'm talking to Luke today about dumpsters, whatever. Like every day we're doing something, right? It's not gonna quite come through probably the Board of Finance, like a nice, perfect little package with every little quote in it. You shouldn't have expectations of that, but I'm gonna try to keep doing that as best we can to get it come through this process. Ultimately, the town council has to approve it. If they do, great. If they don't, well, then we'll have to make changes in what we're gonna try to do for the festival. I just don't know. But eventually, it's gonna come in front of the Board of Finance, and we'll continue to work it as best we can until we.
Through the normal.
Yep, exactly.
budget
Yep,
process,
that's right. Yep.
Just tell me we get to grill you when the.
So I may have the vice chair come here that night and, and do that, because,
All right, everybody set? All right. 9:24. Thanks, everybody.